Hello everyone, my name is Ken Cochran. I am the director of the O'Brien Library, and today I'd like to take you on a virtual tour of the library. So I know a lot of you folks live out of town, live out of state, and some of you may even live outside the country and don't have an opportunity to visit campus very often. I would like to take this opportunity to show you around. As you may know, the campus has been closed for a while now due to the COVID pandemic, with staff and faculty working remotely. So today the building is closed. We have the building to ourselves, and this is a good opportunity for me to walk you through the library and take a brief tour. Right now we are standing out in the reception area of the building. To my right is the reception desk where visitors check in. Directly in front of me are the entry doors to the building. And if you follow me, so right here is the academic wing. After you come in the main entrance, this is where the classrooms are and the faculty wing. And this is the choral lounge area. This is where folks can gather, have a meal, associate, lounge area for students to study and have quiet conversation. And straight out back is the back patio here. During the summer months, sometimes we have these doors unlocked so students can gather on the back patio, have a meal and conversation. Over here is the entrance to the O'Brien Library, the main entranceway. This is the circ area, and I'll walk you through. Here's the circulation desk, book return, where patrons can drop off their returns, as well as the library hours. Behind the circ desk here, we have the course reserves, and these are readings that have been set aside by instructors for students to use here inside the library. Over here we have the Writing Center, and the Writing Center is run by Jimmy Mallory, who's not here today, but Jimmy assists students with their written assignments and helps them with remedial writing skills, things like that. Jimmy, by the way, is a graduate of our MDiv program and also the husband of Tesha Mallory, who's our worship director. Over here we have a picture of the O'Briens, as you can probably guess. The library is named after the O'Briens. Elmer O'Brien is a former director, and his wife Betty, who now lives in Colorado, and she checks in on us occasionally and sees how we're doing. And here are the library main stacks. To my right are new acquisitions. These are titles just recently purchased and cataloged and processed for patrons to use. And the tracker organ. Tracker organ was built in 1896, donated from some folks out in Iowa. You may be wondering why we have an organ in the library main stacks, a place that's presumably reserved for quiet reading and study. And the reason, quite simply, is because this is the only place that could accommodate something of that size. Speaking of space, as you know, this is quite a spacious area, and the reason for that is because this was formerly the gymnasium for the Jewish Community Center. When United Theological Seminary purchased this property and the library moved here in 2006, there used to be basketball hoops at either end of this room here. But these are the library main stacks, right? Over here we have the computer lab that was formerly on the second floor of the seminary. Just last summer we relocated the computers down here so students could work on papers and print. By the way, the computers print to the copier just inside the main doors here. Over here we have a quiet reading area, study tables for students. One thing I want to point out about our library classification system, we use the Library of Congress classification system, and those of you who spend a lot of time in academic libraries are probably familiar with it. The alphanumeric combination, B incidentally, is the classification for philosophy, psychology, and religion. So as you can probably guess, a vast amount of our materials are under this B classification for religion. One of the main features of attraction here in the library is the 1902 replica glider made by the Wright brothers. Now this particular replica was made by some folks at Wright State University. It used to hang in the Wright State Student Union, and now is currently exhibited here under our care. And once a year in July, we take it down from the ceiling, give it a good dusting and cleaning, and then hoist it back up again. One other thing I'd like to point out in this area, we've got our standing OPAC computers. These are the online catalog computers that patrons can use to search for materials in the main stacks. Now, before proceeding on further, I just want to point out a little bit more about the classification system. As I mentioned earlier, a vast majority of our materials are classified under the B range. Here we have the BS for Bible and Scriptures. So starting with the Old Testament, and over here's the New Testament. This is where you'll find a lot of Bible commentaries and things like that, scholarly works on the Scriptures. Incidentally, everything you see in these standing stacks here circulates, with the exception of the periodicals, which we'll get to in a minute. Aside from the BS section here, we have the BT, and BT is for doctrinal theology. And then on the reverse side here, we have BV as in Victor, and that's practical theology. BX for denominational studies. And our library is kind of unique in the sense that we are one of the very few that use BY as a classification for Methodist studies. So everything Methodist and Wesleyan related is under this BY designation. And if you'll follow me back here, more study tables. Back here, all along this wall where the windows are, we have our oversized collection. These materials do circulate, so students can check them out. We also keep our overflow supply of Bible commentaries back here. So if students are unable to find them in the main stacks, they can check out the ones from the oversized section. Back here we have the biblical seminar room. Here we keep a lot of our Bible dictionaries, Bible commentaries, Anchor Bible Dictionary, International Critical Commentary, Anchor Bible Series, Hermenia Series. And then back along this wall we have the Word Biblical Commentary, the Old Testament Library, and several lexicons as well. Right? Just to mention as well, during the Doctor of Ministry intensive weeks, this area is occasionally used by focus groups for focus group meetings. So students and their mentors and faculty consultants can meet back here. Over here, doors leading to the library back office. And this is where a lot of the technical processing goes on. Things like cataloging new books, putting the stickers and stamps on to get them prepared for circulation in the main stacks. Here we have our Doctor of Ministry theses. Began with the year 2000. These are arranged alphabetically by the student's last name, starting with 2000, 2001, 2002, and so on. Everything pre-2000 is at the opposite end of the main stacks collection here. Doctor of Ministry students are permitted to check out one of these volumes each semester. At the end of the semester, the volume is brought back to the library. They do not renew up to 2019. We've decided after 2019, for cost considerations, instead of binding print copies of the theses, we're making these all digitally available online. And they are searchable through both the WorldCat Discovery Catalog, which is United's in-house catalog, as well as the DTL catalog, or the Digital Theological Library catalog. On this side, we have our print journals, our print serials. Bound volumes, which are classified by alphabetically by journal title. These two do not circulate, though patrons are welcome to make photocopies of the articles. And then if you follow me back here, all along the wall on this side of the room, we have our reference materials. And these reference materials, encyclopedias, Bible commentaries, Bible dictionaries, other biblical reference materials. These are all in-house materials as well. just for patrons to use here while they're in the library. Of course, they're welcome to make photocopies as with the periodical titles. And here we have the EUB Study Center. This room was just recently dedicated as of last October to Dr. Sarah Blair. Dr. Blair was our former library director who just retired in June of 2020. The EUB Study Center also serves as a meeting place during the doctoral intensive weeks for focus groups to meet in. And over on this side here, we have our microfilm collection for denominational materials, things like conference minutes, journals, publications, that kind of thing. Our ScanPro 3000 machine. This we just purchased in November of 2019. And this machine is capable of digitizing our microfilm rolls to preserve them in a digital format for posterity's sake. Over on this side, we have more denominational materials for local researchers. A lot of this is United Brethren and Evangelical United Brethren. The bust of Bishop Milton Wright. Bishop Milton Wright, of course, is a very prominent figure in the history of our seminary. He was the best known as being the father of the Wright brothers. So more local history materials, seminary bulletins, and the final stop on our tour is the director of the library office. And this here is my office, and I tell folks that I have an open door policy, with the exception of when I'm in a virtual meeting or a face-to-face meeting for that matter. That's the only time these doors are closed. Otherwise, I keep these doors open. I tell folks, please stop by, visit for a chat. If there's anything I can help you find in the main stacks, more than happy to do it. So please do stop by on your next visit if you follow me out here. Here we're in the academic wing. To the right are the classrooms. To the left we have the faculty wing. Also the free giveaway shelf. These are books that folks are welcome to take during their visit, as many as they want, as often as they want. And then a glass display case with our faculty publications. Proceeding down the hall will take us back to the reception area. So here we are back at the beginning. To the right is the reception desk. Straight ahead are the doors to the entranceway. One last thing I want to point out. Immediately to the left of the doors, if you're facing the building, is a 24/7 book drop. Patrons are welcome to drop off books any time of day or night, regardless of whether or not the building is open. Folks, thank you for joining me today. God bless. Take care. We hope to see you sometime soon.